Hey guys, welcome back. It is time for Unpopular Opinions in Pokemon number 3. Starting it off with Pokemon Holofoil version. If you haven't watched the other two, check them out. Uh, Although I guess you could watch in any order. Doesn't really matter. They are saying, I thought of another one that I'm not sure is unpopular, but is a lot more trivial than the discussion seems to be at present. I think the Stormfront Charizard is hideous, and I genuinely cannot believe Arita illustrated both that one and the original base set card. Might want to be a little bit careful with that. Caribou might come for you, in true fashion. Artwork is subjective, I guess. I think they're both nice, but yeah, I can see if you prefer one over the other. I wouldn't go as far as to say that like either of which are horrible, even if they're not your favorite artwork. But I'd say that it was definitely an unpopular opinion. I haven't heard too many people say that, but I know people definitely prefer the original over the Stormfront. Next up, we have a deleted member. I'm not even sure who this is. So they're saying Gen 4 is the best games, best anime. How in the hell are they going to let a dude with a Darkrai and Latios into the Pokemon League, best Pokemon? Yeah, I hope they don't ruin my heart and soul with the remakes. I would have to disagree. I don't think Gen 4 is bad, but certainly not my favorite, and certainly not most people's favorite. But if you grew up with that, you probably have a soft spot for it, or maybe you just really like the Pokemon from that generation, the story, whatever else. But yeah, you're in luck, because with the remakes, you'll hopefully have another throwback, exciting adventure to come. Alright, Kozrob says, the Illustrator card doesn't deserve to be the most expensive Pokemon card, deserves to be up there. I think we had one similar to this. I guess somewhat agree. I don't know what would take its place. Maybe some of the trophies, like was mentioned in another post. But I don't know. The Illustrator is pretty iconic, and the artwork on it is nice to go alongside the fact that it's an Illustrator themed card. Sacari here, and make sure you guys check him out. It's his thread that we're referencing here, youtube.com/Sacari. I'll try to remember to put it down in the description. Check him out. He makes videos as well. He says the 1998 third place Pikachu trophy card is the best trophy card, just like how cute and content Pikachu is with his third place trophy. And we lost the image here, but just imagine a chunky Pikachu holding a trophy. I'm gonna probably disagree. I don't know. Chunky Pikachu is neat. Did he slimmed down? But at the same time, he's not my favorite. I don't know what my favorite trophy card would be. I'm not really a trophy card collector, so I'd have to think about it probably. But probably not that. I like the Worlds promos a lot. I guess I have some of those, but nothing in terms of like placements or anything like that, just the ones that were given out to contestants. Azul says Nuzlocke challenges are the best ways to experience the traditional games. I'm going to disagree because I haven't watched much Nuzlocke, and I haven't played one myself. It's probably something that I should do at some point. Interesting way to play. I would say maybe a better experience if you've already played through the game normally, maybe, and then you're looking for like another variation or a little extra on top to go back and re-experience. I'm kind of a purist in that way, that I'd rather play the original game, but I can see if someone really is into a series or into a game and wants to do that, or maybe they just really like the Nuzlocke challenges in general. Different strokes. Alright, Budget says Himono's artwork post 2003 lacks the character that made WotC art so special. Off the top of my head, I really love the old Himeno artwork, but I also like a lot of the newer stuff. I would say that it's definitely changed over time. So I guess preferring one over the other. I really like the old stuff too, but I also love the new stuff. All right, Ryan23 says there's no such thing as too much Charizard, and he'll never become stale. Maybe it's the Gen 1 kid in me, but give me Charizard everything. Same applies to Pikachu as well. Judging by this, they've only posted 7 times. Either they don't want to post on the forum, or maybe Pokemon became stale and they left. But yeah, I would disagree. I think we saw that a lot recently, where it was Charizard, and then they tossed in a Pikachu with the chunky boy. Too much Charizard. Definitely too much Charizard. I'm kind of glad that we're having a little Charizard break, especially before the end of the year, where that like 25th anniversary stuff's coming out, and I'm sure they're going to be dumping some more Charizards on us. There are more sealed booster boxes than the highest PSA 10 of each set. I would probably disagree with the really old, especially first edition stuff. I'm sure this applies to some sets and not others, so I don't know about that one. Chevy Cat says there aren't as many show bidders as people think. It's just that a lot of people in this hobby can't comprehend that prices will go up from time to time. I would disagree, just because it's hard to even track how many show bids are happening. I mean, if you're looking at one particular incident, it's easy enough to go in and look at the bidder history and check to see if it gets relisted and everything else to see if it's actually a show bidder. Also, dead giveaway when the person that doesn't pay, or the person that is low feedback, or the person bids on exclusively that person's items. That's when it's I don't know. I don't think it's overestimated at all. We have Azul again. We're now in an era of collecting where we should probably start talking more about the commons and uncommons and show more appreciation for them than focus on the hype cards and holos by reason of artwork alone. Yeah, I kind of have to agree. I enjoy both just as much. There's a certain attraction, whether you're appreciating everything or not, to the rarity of certain cards, and just seeing them less is typically kind of makes me appreciate them more. Even though if they were all the same pull rate, I would probably choose certain commons over rares or anything like that. So I don't know. I would say this is definitely unpopular. That hit that point. Ryan's back. 2 of his 7 posts. Says base set unlimited cards look better than shadowless. Thought this since I was 5. LOL. I also prefer the Cosmos holo and base set too. Yeah, I don't know. Cosmos holo I think is maybe a little bit overrated in my opinion. But I can see why people like it. I think maybe I'm just sick of all the swirl talk and people that just like it better than anything else. It's just like seems like it's pushed a little bit too hard. And I really enjoy when the holo changes from generation to generation. It's something new, and works with artworks in different ways. So I guess I would kind of have to agree that the unlimited look better. There's nothing that can kind of replace that shadowless look and like coming across a card and being like, oh, that's shadowless, or like it just kind of, it'll always catch you by surprise a little bit. So I don't know. They're both nice. All right, back to Sacari. Many of us, including myself, are too quick to be dismissive of certain cards because of what set they are from or because they're not mint. Your average collector doesn't think about any of these things. Just because a card isn't going to make you money doesn't mean something is wrong with it. So yeah, I'd agree. I don't know. I appreciate all cards, and I think they all kind of play a role, even though some are a little bit insignificant in terms of they aren't playable, and if they're in a common slot, they're just pushed to the side. Even though they might have some amazing artwork, I really love the artworks that coincide with each other, are done by the same artist, or have one artwork in the background, or tease something in the set. That's kind of my favorite thing about all of that. Yeah, I would say the average collector doesn't think about a lot of that stuff. And you've seen that a lot recently, where everyone entering the hobby, casually anyway, just if anything, they want if they collected base set when they were a kid, they wanted a base set, and they don't necessarily care if it's in perfect condition, and they certainly don't care if it's first edition or shadowless or anything of the like. If they had a binder set of unlimited, they'd be I think just as happy with that, and more happy to pay the price tag that's associated with that. So I think that's with anything. The more niche and rare items end up in the more hardcore collectors that want to spend more time and money on the hobby. So still nice that there's that unlimited option for anyone that actually wants base set, where it was printed like crazy. So still pretty damn affordable. Alright, here we go. All snap cards are ugly, and if I was spending that much money, I would want something that looks half decent in my collection. They just remind me of an old 3D generation software program called Cahoots that we used to play around with in year 9 and 10 at school in the 2000s. No offense intended for anyone's snap cards. So I think there was a bunch of conversation after this, but I probably just largely due to the fact that Spinch here didn't play the snap game in the 2000s. So if you don't have that nostalgia for it, the 3D animation, looking back at it now, is pretty terrible. But back then, and if you played the game itself, you have a certain hits a certain nostalgia, and yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem to bother people as much that actually played the game. And kind of cool that it's actual like screenshots from the game that were submitted. All right, Drugi ZG. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I believe this is pretty unpopular opinion, so here it is. I'm fully against cracking open any graded cards, even if they are low grades. The only thing that is okay with me is resubmitting them in their cases if they are hugely misgraded and nothing else. I got bad news for you. I've cracked a bunch of 8s and 9s and even some 7s and like the really, really expensive cards for my binder sets. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong. If I can get a PSA 8 or 9 for the same price as a Nearman card or better, then I'm probably going to buy the graded card and crack it out. So I don't know. This could have a lot to do with people resubmitting. Maybe he's against that. Per se, I don't really have anything against that either. But for my own sake, I think if you're grading cards that probably shouldn't be graded, if it's not adding value to the card itself, then it probably shouldn't have been submitted to begin with. Because again, there's not really any reason to grade cards other than to increase the value or legitimize them. But if it's an inexpensive card, like is it worth submitting to have them tell you it's real rather than just having someone experienced take a look at it? SM Pratt says, here's another one. PSA set registry is lame AF. I'm going to say this was 100% a jab at PFM. I would say it's pretty lame, but I know some people enjoy it. I guess that would be the graded card equivalent to the Poke Collector website that I use. So I guess great, good on them. And if it works, it works. I personally have no use for it, so I would say that it's lame for my purposes. Crystal Ho-Oh says, graded packs are underrated and actually look pretty damn nice when treated with care during the encapsulation process. So I don't know what he means by, what she means by treated with care during the process. I don't know. The PSA ones aren't really designed for Pokemon cards. At least they weren't. I don't know if they've come out with something or going to come out with something, or if the competition has come out with anything. But it's kind of hard to look at the packs when they have the top and the bottom folded over in order to get them in there, where the cases are more designed for the wax packs without the flaps. So the only way to get them in there. So I don't know if that's also maybe what she meant by treated with care, but I don't know. Graded packs, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't personally have any attachment to like sealed product. I'd rather have the actual cards in a binder so I can see them all, rather than the it's just some box art and everything else that's nice, and it's kind of cool to see something sealed for that long. But at the same time, I want the contents, not the packaging. Gozrob says Pokemon as a collectible will die within our lifetimes. I mean, there's definitely a chance. I don't think it's dying anytime soon. I don't know how old Gozrob is, but maybe if he's like 30, in like 40 years from now, like maybe Pokemon dies, but we'll see. We will see. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. There's still kids growing up with Pokemon, and their kids probably will as well. Budget says it's only a matter of time until an influx of cards with forged signatures on them enters the market, which are indistinguishable from a real auto. So kind of seen a little bit of this already with the auto pen stuff, but you can track that back to, okay, it looks exactly like this signature. Maybe eventually there's some kind of program that can like fake slight differences to the point that it looks like a real auto, but it's not a real auto. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I'm kind of with Rudy on this one, where I wouldn't add any value in terms of a signed card, unless it was maybe something that I went and picked up myself, or if I was unable to attend whatever signing event and someone could get it signed for me, then I might value it that way. If the money goes to the artist or something, then I have no problem with that. But in terms of purchasing an autograph card from somebody else, I probably, just to be on the safe side, wouldn't pay any extra for it. And if I was buying a signed card, it would probably be of a card that I really like or an artist that I really like. So, situational. Preferably get it signed yourself in person. It would mean a lot more that way. Tony is saying normal type should never be paired up with any other type except flying and accessory type. The only good exception to this is Girafarig, because literally half the Pokemon is normal and the other half is psychic. Game Freak is haphazardly slapping normal type onto Pokemon that don't need it just so they can shamelessly create new type combinations, and it's infuriating. I actually don't know if this is an unpopular opinion on here, but apparently it is on Reddit. I don't know on efour. There's a lot of, I'm sure there's quite a few, but not, I would say the majority of people are more Pokemon card collectors than Pokemon gamers. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing where sometimes more things get lopped into it, because if it's going to exist, then they need to have a certain amount of it, where they have normal attacks and stuff like that. That maybe, I don't know. I'm not a competitive Pokemon gamer either, so you probably know better than I do if normal needs to exist or not. Pokemon stopped being cool after Silver and Gold on Game Boy. So I'm gonna assume that broke stuff here probably got too old for Pokemon around this around this time, and gave it up, and that's why it stopped being cool. This is gonna, Pokemon maybe stopping being cool might be different for anyone else, depending on once you hit a certain age. Sometimes it's not the cool thing to do, but I sure wish that I had stuck with it over the years. I missed out on a lot, and it's been fun going back and checking everything out. But all right, Zini says I prefer Quilava over Typhlosion. I don't know if Dizzle has seen this yet, but if he has, he might be angry. Although I'm sure he likes Quilava as well. Certainly Cyndaquil and Typhlosion. I haven't heard his take on Quilava. I guess I would kind of agree. No comment. Millhouse says, new interpretations, regional forms of older Pokemon are more desirable than completely new Pokemon. I would disagree. I like some of the regional forms, but I'd rather see new Pokemon, I think. It might be too much at this point, but one could argue that the regional forms are basically new Pokemon. Alright, Kimura is one of the best artists that the TCG has seen and deserves to make some of the newer, more creative ultra rares. Basically, in my opinion, only the alternate arts at this point, sadly. Yeah, I would agree. So, and then favorite cards. This is a deleted member. I'm not sure who this is either. We got Crystal Lugia, Skyridge Vaporeon, Skyridge Poliwrath, Neo Destiny Light Jolteon. Yeah, those are all really great artworks, and yeah, it'd be cool. I love the that the modern stuff is giving a bunch of artists a chance at some artworks. Would it be cool if more of them got a shot at alternate arts? Yeah, and I'm sure it'll happen. They can also only put so many alternate arts in the sets. This was back in 2019, so maybe it's heading that direction, and I haven't seen if he got featured on anything recently. I'd have to check. Alright, Lapras Laughing says, one of my more unpopular opinions is really enjoying the Pokemon Sinnoh region games over almost every other game released so far. Pokemon Platinum is one of, if not the best Pokemon game to date. Disagree, although I don't know. I don't even know if I have a favorite. I'd have to think about it. And there's some that I haven't played, and there's some that I haven't played all the way through, especially the remakes and stuff, so I don't know if that one maybe... Oh, we got two of this one in a row. We'll skip that. Henry says, TBH, PSA 10s are overrated. The difference between a 9 and a 10 is absurd. I would agree, and I would even say that an 8 is sometimes just as good as a 9, which is just as good as 10. Anything that looks as good as it did when it came out of the pack, with the exception of it somehow being damaged from the factory, is pretty damn good in my opinion, and good enough for me. Electro Dude says, basic energy cards are the only cards that will have any future value. Just kidding. Okay. On a more serious note, I feel the newer sets lack collectability because newer cards are aimed more at the players and not the collector. I wish they would bring back the first edition stamp to give us real collectors an actual goal to reach, like the early WotC days with the first edition sets and everyone was trying to pull certain cards. I wish we would go back to the fun nostalgia for those days. So, I mean, would you still think the same thing if you couldn't get access to the first edition stamp cards? And with the size of the sets currently, they can't do first edition stamps as well. The sets are already painfully difficult to collect as is. I would even argue that maybe the reverse set is the equivalent to a first edition set in terms of difficulty to collect and maybe value, if you wanted to like add extra value onto your entire set. Yeah, I don't know. Like WotC days, you're looking at getting almost the entire set in a booster box, whereas now I don't even know how many booster boxes you would need of recent sets before you could actually get the whole thing. Even if you somehow didn't get duplicates in those like hard to pull cards and reverses, you'd still be opening like 50 boxes or something ridiculous, depending on how many of those like ultra rares and or hyper rares and secret rares and alternate arts that are in sets now. So like, you definitely don't want this. You might think that you want it, but you don't want it. Modern should be geared towards players. Players are the core of the game, and all meta cards should be affordable, i.e. not pay to win. A healthy competitive scene is better for everyone. This is from Mojo. I'm going to disagree. I mean, it should be geared towards players in terms of the text on the cards and made fun to play. Players are not necessarily the core of the game, and players don't like to hear this, but there are far more collectors than there are players. The game is great, and if anyone hasn't tried it, I highly suggest that you do. So saying all the meta cards should be affordable, I think Pokemon's doing a pretty good job of this. Even if something ends up being expensive, typically they'll print a promo version of it, or these meta cards will have various versions. So you'll have like an affordable version of a V, and then you might have like the hyper, or the at this point the alternate art that's going to be much more expensive. But if you're just putting it in a deck, you probably don't want to go max rarity anyway, unless you want to show off your baller expensive deck, which I guess is up to you. If you want to show up to Pokemon League with a full max rarity deck, then by all means have at it, but might be a little bit of a waste of money. And I probably wouldn't want to be shuffling max rarity cards. It would be a little bit painful. I guess it depends on your budget though. Healthy competitive scene is better. Yeah, any part of the game, just like a healthy selection of collectible cards and chase and everything else is healthy for the secondary market, and I guess for the growth of the game in general. Alright, Kozrob is back and says there's more seal boxes being found in garages or old card shops than being opened by YouTubers and fake live stream. I don't know what fake live stream is. Yeah, maybe, but this might like balance out at some point, and I don't know if that's already happened. But yeah, there's also a lot being opened by YouTubers and Twitch streamers and everything else. So I don't know. This will probably balance out at some point, and then eventually both are going to decrease. But I would think that the garage sales and cold card shops are going to decrease faster than the second one, maybe, unless like Pokemon becomes less popular and then these people aren't opening them anymore, or these become so expensive that they don't want to open them anymore. There's a complex graph that can be mapped out. if anyone feels like creating one. Sophie says, I think Evolutions is an interesting set and Steam Siege isn't terrible at all artwork wise, and I would even like to have a binder set of these. People just hate them because packs keep appearing in products that really shouldn't have them. Yeah, I like the fact that Evolutions had some cards that weren't just direct reprints, and that the power level was sort of adjusted for them, and it was very cool to open when it first came out. But yeah, over the years, seeing it and everything killed my desire to even look at it. But anyone that entered the hobby recently, even though Evolutions has been in almost every product since it came out, was very excited to open Evolutions because it's that nostalgia factor. It's the closest thing to opening an affordable base set, I guess. And then Steam Siege, yeah, Steam Siege is memed down a little bit too hard. I think it's a pretty good set. Some of the artwork is cool. It's got shinies in it. Cher says, probably been said already, but PSA cards look dull with sleeves on them. Yeah, I mean, you could say that cards in general look worse with sleeves on them, but or cards in a PSA case look worse than just the raw card. But if you're protecting it and storing it, then you probably want something on it. The PSA cases, you can buff them out. You ask PFM to borrow some of his polish, his plastics, and you can rub the scratches out of them. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of if you're moving them around a lot, you might want to have the sleeves on them to keep them from getting scratched out. If they're just going in a box or something, then I can see not needing the sleeves, because they probably fit inside each other without scratching pretty well. Alright, Collectible Cardboard says, sorry, but I don't get the Gold Star hype. Is it just a rarity? In my opinion, original EX cards look so much better. Well, I would say that it's the fact that they were something like 1 in 3 boxes. Is it the rarity? Yeah, that would do it. They're popular Pokemon. They're also shiny, as we've seen with Hidden Fates and Shining Legends and everything else. People love shiny Pokemon. There's people that play the game that just hunt shiny Pokemon. So, the market is there. People love shiny Pokemon. original EX era cards look so much better. Yeah, I think they both look good, but different era, different thing, different hype that came out at a different time, and now going back, if something's rare and popular, then it's gonna have a price tag on it. Then we have, I think, Gold Star Charizard and Crystal Charizard are some of the ugliest variations of Charizard. I disagree, especially I really like Gold Star Charizard. Crystal Charizard, I can kind of see the argument that people don't like the neck on it or whatever, but I think it's a nice card as well. It does get a boost for being Charizards in terms of popularity, but I think they're both nice cards. I love the crystals, and I love the Gold Stars. I think they're both like part of the history of the TCG in both the collector's aspect and the player's aspect. I think the crystals weren't very playable though, so maybe not that. Maybe more the collectors. The collectors love them. Here, so this is something that I actually just learned. Dizzy Lux, thanks for that. Says the Grand Party should generally be referred to as a trainer certification card. Nothing wrong with the Grand Party, but it's not its name. So I wasn't really sure what he meant at first, but and I always ever hear anyone referring to it as Grand Party. But yeah, the card is actually called Trainer Certification Card, and the reason that it gets that the name Grand Party, including on the PSA label, is because you got Grand Party in English straight across the front here. So yeah, that was some neat information. I focus mainly on the English cards, so some of this stuff I'm sure I still haven't learned yet, but cool to, while making this video or preparing for it, to actually learn something new. Thanks very much, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know what's up in the comments.